Hello guys, good evening, sorry. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, the SPC Tutorials. My name is Dr. Joseph. Please, as you are watching this video, endeavor to subscribe, like, share and comment. In today's video, I'll be taking us PBB 111 topic, the seed plants or the seed producing plants, okay? And these are called what? Tracheophytes. These plants, they are able to produce what? Seed. They are called what? Seed bearing plants. Now, the tracheophytes are divided into two. They are divided into the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. The angiosperms are divided into the monocot plants and the dicot plants. And the monocot plant, of course, have one cotyledon, while dicot plants have two cotyledons. Now, what are we have striking differences between the angiosperms and the gymnosperms, and we have similarities between the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. Let us go into that. Now, the phloem found in the angiosperms have, that is number one, the phloem found in the angiosperms has companion cell. Alright, the phloem found in the angiosperms has companion cells, but the phloem present in the gymnosperms lacks companion cell. Take note of that. 2. The xylem of the angiosperms, the xylem present in the angiosperms possesses vessel, tracheids, and wood parenchyma. Alright, the xylem present in angiosperms possess vessel, tracheids, and wood parenchyma. But the xylem present in the gymnosperms possesses wood parenchyma and tracheids, but lacks vessel. Please take note of that. The xylem present in gymnosperm lacks what? Vessel. Now, number 3, we have what? Double fertilization. Alright, double fertilization. Now, the gymnosperms do not undergo double fertilization. The gymnosperms do not undergo double fertilization, but the angiosperms undergo double fertilization. Take note of that. Number 4, we now have woody. The gymnosperms are always woody. The gymnosperms are always what? Woody. But the angiosperms could be woody or herbaceous. They could be woody or what? Herbaceous. Okay. Now, number 5. Number 5. Now, the gametophyte. The embryo of the angiosperms. The embryo of the angiosperms are nourished by the endosperms. Take note of that. The embryo of the angiosperms is nourished by the endosperms, but the embryo of the gymnosperms is nourished by the female gametophyte. It is nourished by the female gametocyte. Okay. Number 6. The gymnosperms produce naked seed. Alright, gymnosperms produce what? Naked seed. And this seed is found in the comb. The seed produced by the gymnosperms is housed in what? Comb. And the seed produced by gymnosperms is found in the what? Ovule. You know, ovule is, okay, you know that seed is a ripened, fertilized and developed what? Ovule. Seed is a ripened, fertilized and what? Developed ovule. Okay, but fruit is a ripened, fertilized and developed what? Ovary. Okay, ovary, which means that seed is to ovule and fruit is to what? Ovary. Okay, please, the seed produced by the gymnosperms are naked and they are housed in a cone. This cone is open at the surface, all right? It's open at the surface. That's why it is what? That's why they say it is what? It has naked seed. The seed is what? Naked. This cone is not completely, it is not completely closed. It is open at the what? Surface. It's open at the surface, okay? But the seed produced by the angiosperms are enclosed inside this ovary, having what? Fruity tissues or fruit tissues. You can see now that the seed of the gymnosperms is naked, please, but the seed of the angiosperm is what? Enclosed in the ovary. It is enclosed, it is not exposed. Take note of that, okay? Because angiosperms literally mean enclosed seed. It means what? Enclosed seed. Okay, apart from what I've listed now, okay, is there another one again? Is there any other one? Okay, good. The seventh one. During pollination, that is in the angiosperms now, during pollination, there is transfer of mature pollen grains. There is transfer of mature pollen grains from the microsporangium called stamen. All right, there is a transfer of mature pollen grain. You can that is from the microsporangium, otherwise what? Stamen, to the stigma. To the stigma of the megasporophyll. All right, I said during pollination there is a transfer of pollen grains from the microsporangium, because pollen grains are housed inside the microsporangium, otherwise called what? Stamen, to the stigma of what? Megasporophyll. Of course, you know that during pollination it is the stigma that accepts what? The pollen grains. As soon as the pollen grains get the stigma, it germinates and produces what? The nuclei. It produces what? Nuclei. But in the gymnosperms, the pollen grains are transferred directly to the macropyle. We can see now that in angiosperms, it is what? It occurs orderly. The pollen grains are transferred from the microsporangium to the stigma of the megasporophyll. The microsporangium, I can also say megasporangium. The megasporangium is the female reproductive organ, while the microsporangium is the male reproductive organ, okay? A sporophyll is a leaf that is bearing what? The sporangium. This sporophyll, this word sporophyll is a leaf bearing what? The sporangium. Of course, the sporangium is what? Diploid. It is what? A diploid entity. Take note of that. Is there another one that I have not dropped? Yeah, so these are the differences between the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. Please do not forget that. Hope it's recording now. Yes, thank God it's recording. Please do not forget. These are the striking differences between the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. Please take note of that. I think good. Another one. Yeah. I just remembered now. Number 8. Please take note of this. In the gymnosperms, the female gametocyte is very large. In gymnosperms, the female gametocytes, the female gametophytes, yeah. In gymnosperms, the female gametocyte is very large, and this female gametocyte has the archegonium, and it ends with what? Ovum. You know the ovum is what? The sex cell, or the cell, or the gametes produced by the female gametophyte. Okay, I said in gymnosperms, the female gametocyte is very large. It comprises archegonia and what, ovum. But in angiosperms, the female gametocyte is reduced to its nucleated nuclei embryo is reduced, which means that in angiosperms the female gametocyte is smaller than the gymnosperms. And again, in angiosperms, the female gametocyte is reduced, that is one, and it does not have the archegonia. Please take note of that. It only has the ovum. It does not have archegonia. But the female gametocyte of gymnosperms has the archegonium and what? The ovum. And the angiosperms has reduced female gametocyte. It does not have what? Archegonium. Please, these are the differences between the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. Please take note of that. Now, since we've established these interesting differences between the angiosperms and the gymnosperms, I would also want us to look at we have some economic importance of what? The gymnosperms. They are very, very what? Useful. But before I go into that, let us do a brief introduction to what? The gymnosperms. Please, in gymnosperms, all right, the independence and conspicuous in gymnosperms, the independence and conspicuous generation, same thing is applied, or same thing goes to the angiosperms, not just gymnosperms. In gymnosperms and angiosperms, the independent and conspicuous generation is the sporophytic stage, which means that this is the main stage. Therefore, the sporophytic stage is dominant, while the gametophytic stage is what? Recessive, which means that the gametophyte stage or the gametophytic stage depends completely on the sporophytic stage for what? Food and other required what? Nutrients. Take note of that. Now, please, since this is the main, please, good. Gymnosperms do not produce flowers. Yes, it just occurred to me. Gymnosperms do not produce flowers, okay? But the angiosperms, they produce flowers. Hence, they are called what? Flowering plants. They are called flowering plants because they produce flowers. But gymnosperms do not produce flowers. Take note of that. It is very important. Now, okay, the gymnosperms, they have needle-like leaves. These needle-like leaves are found on short branches. Alright, needle-like leaves are found in gymnosperms, and these leaves are found on short branches called spore shoots. Spore shoots. These short branches that the needle-like leaves are found are called what? Spore shoot. When these spore shoots occur in cluster, they are called what? Fascicle. Please take note of that. I said the short branches that these needle-like leaves are found are called what? Spore shoots. But when these spore shoots now occur in cluster, they are called what? Fascicles. Please take note of that. It is very important. Is there any other point I have to drop? Please, good. The microsporangia, non-microsporangium is the male reproductive part. Now, it's usually found in the form of cluster around the terminal bud. The macrosporangia, all right, is usually found around the terminal bud, but the megasporangium is found at the tip of what? The growing parts of the plants at the tip. Okay, now these arrangements, I just this explanation on this arrangement of the megasporangia on the terminal bud and the lower tip of the leaf is called what? Polliniferous and ovuliferous. All right, please take note of that. Now, most gymnosperms are monoecious. Okay, most gymnosperms are what? Monoecious. If I don't say they are monoecious, I can say they are bisexual. All right, if I don't say they are bisexual, I can say they are hermaphrodite. They are what? Hermaphrodite. All right, most gymnosperms are what? Monoecious or bisexual or what? Hermaphrodite. Take note of that. Please let me explain something. That is, the monoecious nature of gymnosperms is defined as the arrangement of or the occurrence of the macrosporangia sporangium and the megasporangium in separate cone. This cone is called what? Strobili. It is the arrangement of what? Macrosporangium and megasporangium in separate cone, but on the same flower, but on the same plant. Now the word the same, okay, but on the same plants. This is what makes the plants monoecious. Alright, this is what makes the plants monoecious, because the macrosporangium and the megasporangium are found on the same plant, but on different what? Cone. Okay. Now, the strobili is that spike that is produced on the tip of the stem by the sporophyll. I told us the meaning of sporophyll before. I said the sporophyll is the leaf is a leaf that houses the sporangia. And the sporangia is what? Cone shaped. I told us before. The sporogium is what? Pear shaped. Sporangia is what? Cone shaped. Sporogium or sporogia are what? Pear shaped. Then the gametophytes is what? Heart shaped. It has the shape of what? Heart. Please take note of that. That is all about what? The gymnosperms for now. That is for now. Okay. Now, looking at what we have here, I've given us some things or some features of the gymnosperms. Okay, but let me drop this. You would agree with me that the male gametophytes or embryo sac develop from the macrospore. Alright, the macrospore is the male gamete. If I don't call it macrospore, I can call it what? Pollen grain. Alright, this male gametophyte or embryo sac, they develop from the macrospore, otherwise called what? Pollen grain. And this macrospore is produced by the microsporangium. I think that microsporangium is responsible for the production of what? Gametes. Gametes, please, gametes. This male gametophyte develops from the microspore or the pony grain, which is produced by the microsporangium. The word macro it has to do with males, but when you hear the word mega, females, this is cheating, real life cheating. But the female gametocytes or gametophyte, I don't know why gametophyte and gametocyte just enter my mouth. While the female gametophytes or embryo sac develop from it develops from the megaspore. Alright, you can see the word mega now, it's not macro. Macro is to male, then mega is to what? Female. If I don't call this megaspore, I can call it what? Egg cell. Alright, and this megaspore egg cell is produced by the megasporangia. Anything mega is always females, while anything macro is always what? Males. Take note of that. Now this microsporangium is connected to the microsporophyll. Alright, microsporophylls. While these megasporangia are connected to the what? Megasporophyll. Alright, so that is it. Now this microspore and the megaspore would undergo meiosis. Look at it. This microspore and megaspore would undergo what? Meiosis to produce what? A megaspore. A megaspore. This megaspore possesses what? 8 haploid nuclei. 8 haploid what? Nuclei. Please take note of that. So this is for gymnosperms, and I told us something just now that gymnosperms have different divisions. There are different divisions of the gymnosperms. But before I go into that, let me tell you about what the angiosperms. Who is recording? Good. Let me tell you about the angiosperms. Now the angiosperms, these plants are really what? Organized. They are really organized. Now let me tell you the life cycle of the gymnosperms first. Life cycle of the angiosperm. Life cycle of angiosperms. Life cycle of what? Angiosperms. Now the major generation is definitely what? The sporophytic generation. The major generation is what? The sporophytic generation, and it is independent. It is dependent on itself, but it is independent on the gametophytic stage, which is what? Recessive, and this one is what? Dominant. Please take note of what I'm about to say. Take note of what I'm about to say. The production of flowers, and okay, how do I put it now? There's something I'm trying to remember now. The production of flower and ovule marks the beginning, or marks the maturation of the embryo. Alright, take note of that. Marks the maturation of what? The embryo. Okay, then I told you something that the The angiosperms, they do undergo what? Double fertilization. They undergo what? Double fertilization. Now, during double fertilization, one sperm fertilizes the female egg. One sperm fertilizes what? The female egg cell to produce what? A diploid, to produce a diploid zygote. To produce a diploid zygote. Now, this diploid zygote produced, okay, now the first fertilization will involve what? One sperm and egg cell to produce what? Diploid zygote. While the second fertilization involves the fusion of two nuclei, okay, the fusion of the other nucleus with two polar bodies from the female. Alright, the other sperm will fertilize, that is the other nucleus of the sperm will fertilize the two polar bodies from the male to produce what? A triploid endosperms. The triploid what? Endosperms. Now, these triploid endosperms would undergo what? Mitosis to produce what? Endosperm. Would undergo what? Mitosis to produce what? Endosperm. This triploid endosperm undergoes what? Mitosis and not meiosis to produce what? It is this endosperm that would now nourish what? The embryo. I told that number one, in angiosperms, it is the endosperm that nourishes what? The embryo. But in gymnosperm, it is the female gametophyte stage that nourishes what? The embryo. Take note of that. Now, this diploid zygote produced will develop to produce what is called embryonic structure. This diploid zygote produced would develop what is called what? Embryonic structure. It's also, if I don't call it embryonic structure, I call it what? Embryo. This embryonic structure has the plumule. The plumule is called what? Embryonic what? Shoots. Take note. The plumule of the embryo is called what? Embryonic shoots. And this embryo also possesses what? Radicle. The radicle is called what? Embryonic roots. Don't take one for the other. The embryonic shoots is called what? Plumule. Then the embryonic roots is called what? Radicle. Now, this radicle is surrounded or is protected by what is called what? Coleorhiza. Coleorhiza protects what? The radicle. But the coleoptile, just follow it bit by bit. But the coleoptile protect what? That is coleoptile. The coleoptile is to plumule, while the radicle is to what? Coleorhiza. These are the protective shield. That if this one protects or surrounds the plumule, then the coleorhiza protect what? The radicle, which is what? The embryonic roots. Now, this embryo could have one cotyledon. You call it what? A monocotyledon. It could have two cotyledons called what? Dicotyledons. Dicotyledons. Alright, you can see that. This embryo also possesses what? The epicotyle. The epicotyle is one that grows above the cotyledons. You now have what? The hypocotyle. Hypocotyle is one that grows between the cotyledon and what? The surface of what? The cotyledon. Take note of that. It grows between the cotyledons, while the epicotyle grows above the cotyledons. Take note. I think I've established that fact already. Is there any other one? Again, please let me quickly explain this. The micropyle of a seed The macropyle of a seed is an opening that is left by the integument. Yeah. Alright. The macropyle, I think I spelled it before, but let me write that again. The macropyle of a seed is an opening that is left by the integument. The integument of a seed, it is the external part of the seed that result to what? Seed coat. It is this integument that forms what? The seed coat. This integument forms what? The seed coat. And the macropyle is an opening that is left by the integument, and this macropyle provides easy pathway for the movement of the sperm to what? To fertilize what? The ovule, which means that it connects. It's not like the passage of sperm to meet what? The ovule. Okay, take note of that. That is the function of what? The macropyle. In the macropyle, there are 3 nuclei. In the macropyle, there are how many nuclei? There are 3 what? Nuclei. All of these 3 nuclei, one is what? The egg cell. Is the egg cell. Alright? While the other 2 is called what? The synergid. Synergid what? Cells. One of these 3 nuclei found near the macropyle. One of them is egg cell, while the other one is called what? Synergid cell. Now, away from the macropyle, there is a distance between the macropyle. Away from the macropyle, we have what is called what? Antipodal bodies. There is 3 large nuclei away from the macropyle. They are called what? Antipodal bodies. Antipodal bodies. They are large nuclei that are away from the macropyle. But the ones that are near the macropyle, you have egg cell and what? The synergid cell. Take note of that. It is very, very important. Now, during pollination, like I explained before, during pollination that occurs in the angiosperms, how does it occur? Pollen grains or microspores, they are taken from the macrosporangium, that is the stamen, right, to the stigma of what? The megasporangium. As soon as these pollen grains are deposited inside this stigma, what happens? They will not germinate. As soon as the pollen grains germinate, they produce what? The pollen tube. Please, the germination of the pollen grains inside the stigma of the macrosporangium produces what? The pollen tube. As soon as this pollen tube is produced, it passes through the style and stigma, right? It passes through the style and the stigma as well as the ovule and get deposited in the ovary. Alright? It passes or it pierces through the style and ovule and get deposited inside the ovary. As soon as you get to the ovary, a nuclei is formed. It is this nuclei that now result to what? Double fertilization, as I explained. I said the first one will result to what? There's if one sperm fertilizes what? An egg cell, it will produce what? A diploid zygote. The diploid zygote now develop into what? Embryonic or structure, which I've explained. While the other one will result to what? One sperm will now fertilize 2 polar bodies from the female organism to produce what? A triploid endosperm. This triploid endosperm will undergo what? Mitosis to produce what? Endosperm, which will now what? Nourish the embryo. So that is all about what the angiosperms. Take note of that. Now, the what is it called now? The gymnosperms, I told you before, has some economic importance. All right, some economic what importance. Now, one, some angiosperms like the pinus and Douglas. These are examples of conifers. They are used as what? Christmas trees. Alright, they are used as what? Christmas trees. Pinus and Douglas are used as what? Christmas trees. Then, number two, gymnosperms are used in the production of what? Paper and lumber. Alright, they are used in the production of what? Paper and what? Lumber. Take this word is pronounced as what? Plumber, not plumber actually. Plumber. This B is what? Silent. They are used in production of what? Paper and what? Plumber. Number three, the gymnosperms also produce what? Resin. These resin are sticky and aromatic substances. Alright, these resins are sticky and aromatic what? Substances that are produced by specialized duct of the resin. Okay, this resin is what? Sticky and aromatic. It is produced by some specialized cell in the duct of what? The resin. What is the function of this resin? It is used to bind products together. It is used to bind products together. Number four, another importance of gymnosperms is what? Taxol. Taxol is gotten from the back of what? The gymnosperms. To be specific, the cortex of what? The gymnosperms produce what? This taxol. Okay, this taxol is used. Okay, the botanical name of good. The gymnosperms that produce this taxol is called what? Taxus Brillefophia. Is that not correct? Brillefophia. But I'm not sure of the spelling. But this very one, I'm not sure. But the specific name is what? Taxus. Okay. Now this taxol is called what? A Pacific yew. Pacific what? Yew. It is used in the treatment of what? Congestion in the upper respiratory. Okay, no. Oh. This Pacific yew, sorry. This Pacific yew is used to treat ovarian cancer. Sorry for the mistake. Alright, I was taking it for ephedrine. Ephedrine is used to treat what? Congestion of what? The upper respiratory tract. That is function of what? Ephedrine. It is this word ephedrine is gotten from ephedra, which is what? A type of what? Ignetomata. Okay. Now this Pacific yew is used to treat what? Ovarian cancer. That is taxol. Okay. Is there any other one? I think these are the importance of what? Gymnosperms, paper plumber, Christmas tree, resin, taxol. I think that is all for now. Okay. So that these are the importance of gymnosperms. Now we have different divisions of the gymnosperms. We have different divisions of what? The gymnosperm. We have one division gnetophyta. Two, we have division Lycopodophyta, gnetophyta, okay, ginkgophyta, and number three, we have division coniferophyta. These are the conifers. And these, okay, ginkgos, these are called what? Maidenhair. And is there another one? Gnetophyta, ginkgophyta, coniferophyta. Is there another one? Okay, yeah, cycads. Division Cycadophyta. These are what? The cycads. Sometimes it's good you read a lot, because you know, when you read, if you are trying to remember, if you are trying to forget something, as you just give yourself a little time, it will come back. So Cycadophyta, coniferophyta, gnetophyta, and ginkgophyta and gnetophyta are the divisions of the gymnosperms. What is recorded now? Good, thank God. They are the divisions of the gymnosperms. But tonight I'll round it off with the gnetophyta. Then in our next class we shall be treating the ginkgophyta, coniferophyta, and what? The cycadophyta. Okay? Ah, that is good. Now, the gnetophyta has features that are very similar to the ones possessed by the angiosperms. Because of this, sometimes scientists get confused. They sometimes they are skeptical that the gnetophytes are not gymnosperms, because they have a lot of features that are similar to the ones possessed by the angiosperms. What are these features? You know, when I was giving the differences between the gymnosperms and the angiosperms, I said the gymnosperms do not have vessels, okay? They do not have vessels. But the gnetophytes, they have what? Vessels. They have what? Vessels. And these guys, they have green leaves. And another striking feature of the gnetophyte is that they undergo what? Double fertilization. However, the double fertilization possessed by these guys is not precise as the one possessed by the angiosperms. Excuse me. Hey, sorry, somebody just called me, okay? Now, I said that the gnetophytes, when I was giving us features of the gymnosperms, they don't have vessels, but the gnetophytes, they have vessels. And secondly, the gnetophytes, they have ovule that comprises two integuments. Okay, they have two ovule that has what? Integuments. They have two ovule. Unlike the normal gymnosperms, they have single ovule, but this gnetophyte, they have two ovule, you see. And again, I said that they undergo double fertilization. However, the first one egg, one sperm fertilize what? The egg cell. Definitely zygotes, a diploid zygotes is what? Formed. Good, which is the same with that of what? The angiosperm. Now, the other egg cell, the other sperm cell will fertilize what? Polar bodies. Polar bodies. But in this case, there is no triploid endosperms. There's what? Diploid cells. Diploid cell is what? Produced. And eventually this diploid cell degenerates. Alright, disintegrates. Alright, disintegrates. Take note of that. It is very, very important. It is very important. Okay, I think that is all about the Gnetophyta. And Gnetophyta is divided into three genera. We have the ephedra, we have the Gneton, and we have the Welwitschia. Alright, these are the three genera found in division Gnetophyta: ephedra, Gneton, and what? Welwitschia. Now, what are the features of this ephedra? What are the features they possess? Now, they have profuse branches. Alright, they are shrubs with profuse what? Branches. Branches that grow, that sprout out abundantly. That is what denotes what? Profuse, okay? And these guys, they have their leaves are green. Their leaves are what? Green. And they have how do I put it now? Okay, they are called ephedrine. And they're also called what? Mammon. Okay, Mormon tree. Okay, because they were used by Mormon church pioneers. Mormon church what? Pioneers. Now, ephedrine, I said, is used to treat what? Congestion of what? Upper respiratory tracts. All right. When there's a congestion in the respiratory tract, there is what? Difficulty in breathing. Air does not flow easily through what? The bronchial region of the respiratory tract. So which means that the function of this ephedrine is to what? Neutralize the hindrance here, is to treat it. So that is for that. A good member of this ephedra is what? Ephedra sinica. Ephedra sinica is a representative member of these guys. They could be monoecious or dioecious. They could be monoecious or dioecious, and they have xylem. They have xylem in what? In their vessels. Xylem is present, and they are usually found in the desert region. That's good. In the desert region. Alright, so these are the features of the ephedra. These are the features of what? The ephedra. Ephedra sinica is a member of this what? Genera. We now have what? Gneton. The gneton is a woody climber or tree or shrub. Alright, the gneton is a woody climber or tree or what? Shrub. that is found in the tropical region. It is found in the tropical region. It is always dioecious. It is dioecious, okay? And it has what? Xylem. It has what? Xylem vessels in it. It has xylem vessels in it. And the leaves are phyllotaxy. The leaves are what? Phyllotaxy. So these are the characteristics of what? Gneton, okay? Wood climber. They are wood climber or tree or shrub, tropical. They are found in tropical region. They are always what? Dioecious, and their xylem possesses what? Vessels. The leaves are what? Phyllotaxy. Good. The last one is the Welwitschia, okay? The Welwitschia. The Welwitschia are dioecious. Dioecious, and their leaves are kind of walled. They have walled scale-like or needle-like leaves. Right? They have walled scale-like or needle-like what? Leaves. And these leaves, they have embryo that's their leaves found in the embryo persist throughout their lifespan. All right, they persist throughout their lifespan, and they store water. They store water because of what? The harsh desert region. Xylem is present. They have xylem available. Xylem is what? Present. Please take note of that. So a good member of this genera is what? The richer the I forgot but I think the Miralis. Alright, so take this, the member of what? The richer. So let me round off with questions. Now that we have treated this, let me give us some questions to round off. Let me just read it orally. Hope it's recording. Oh, good. It's still recording. Let me read it orally. Good. We have some past questions here. Now the first one I'm going to be reading here is, they said, in the life cycle of seed plants, meiosis dash, A produces the gametes, B produces the microspores and the megaspores, C does not occur, D produce spores. The answer is what? D. They produce haploid spores. Meiosis. In both pteridophytes, in both gymnosperms and angiosperms, they produce what? Haploid spores. Because I told us that the pteridophytes and bryophytes, they do not produce what? Seed. Which means the answer is what? D. The next one is number 5. They said in angiosperm, the sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte. B. The gametophyte is dependent on the sporophyte. C. The gametophyte is a separate plant. D. The sporophyte is what? A separate plant. What did I tell you about angiosperms and gymnosperms? I said that in angiosperms and gymnosperms, the independent stage is what? The gamete is the sporophytic stage, which means that the gametophyte depends on what? The sporophyte. Therefore, the answer is B. The gametophyte is dependent on what? The sporophyte. Okay. The next one says, which of these were first land plant to evolve seeds? Okay. Okay, there is the what? The angiosperms. Number 90. Dash produces soft woods, while dash produces hard woods.